The suggestion of adding vertical slabs to the game has been a highly controversial one. Some people love it, some people hate it, while some are still on the fence. I decided to play around with the idea myself, so I used the Quark mod to come up with 10 unique features vertical slabs could unlock for builders. If you decide to play around with the mod yourself, send me a picture on Twitter or on Discord. You can find the link to those as well as the mod I used in the description of this video. If I showed you this build without any context whatsoever, you'd probably think this was part of the vanilla game. However, as you can see, if you look closely, I've used vertical slabs as well as full blocks and regular slabs to create some really smooth gradients for these arches. And as you can see, this just unlocks so many possibilities for wall designs, bridge designs, and things of that nature, because now you can create some really smooth arches without having to go on a much larger scale. Furthermore, for these support little things here, I've actually managed to half the size of them just using these vertical slabs, which creates a steeper gradient for these support beams. And as you can see, that just allows us to create depth for this wall without having to go too far out or too far in. So basically, these vertical slabs just unlock so many possibilities with walls, allowing us to make them much more simplistic, but still even more detailed at the same time. Next up, I've created a fantasy roof design using these vertical slabs. As you can see, you can make these really thin, but also really tall roofs using these vertical slabs, just creating a sharper, steeper gradient for these roofs. As you can see, this is a very simple A-frame. You could create some even more complex designs. However, I've been able to add dormers and towers still at the same level as you could with regular stairs and full blocks. As you can see, this is just a really smooth, very simplistic design. You could go on a much grander scale. And as you can see, these vertical slabs just unlock so many possibilities with these roof gradients. It looks so nice. Now, this is a very Victorian-esque design of a house, and as you can see, I have used vertical slabs to create some really intricate window designs and some really neat door designs as well. And it just looks super smooth, and it doesn't look too out of place either. I mean, you wouldn't really notice this, would you? And at the same time with the roof, I've also added vertical slabs just to create a steeper gradient once more and just create a really smooth slope up to the top of the roof. And this just allows us to create even more unique designs with our builds without them standing out too much. Next up, I've created a sort of wizard medieval fantasy tower, and this looks so awesome in my opinion. Now, of course, continuing on from the other two designs, I do have vertical slabs in these cones, which really narrow them down, create some really smooth gradients, and they look a lot nicer than usual, but at the same time, they don't look too unusual either. But the main thing I want to show off with this build is the use of texturing. As you can see, you can create so much more depth with these vertical slabs. Create little stones sticking out or going into the wall, and it just creates some really cobbled rustic looking houses which look really nice and really detailed as well. If you want to label builds on your world, or you have a server with a shopping district or anything like that, you could use vertical slabs to create lettering like this. So as you can see, I've put a huge sign on the shop, and it just creates some really intricate, really smooth lettering designs which work really well. And as you can see, this is sort of a very stylized type of writing. It is quite easy to read, but it still looks a bit unique, and I really like it for that. But this just works really well in so many different scenarios, especially like a modern day town center design. I think this works really nicely. Now, for me, one of the hardest things to build in the vanilla version of this game is vehicles, but using vertical slabs, this becomes a lot easier. As you can see, you can create some really thin, really intricate, and really detailed designs using the vertical slabs, and they take up a lot less space and look a lot sleeker. As you can see, this is just a simple steam train design, but using the vertical slabs, I've managed to smooth it out a lot more, and previously it would be a lot thicker and a lot larger on scale. But this is just such a simple design. However, it looks really nice and detailed using the vertical slabs. It just works really well. Continuing on from that very industrial feel, I have a windmill design, and this works really well using the vertical slabs just to add a tiny bit of depth just for these windmill sail designs, and this works really nice. It also works for other industrial components and builds such as cranes or things like that, and it just works really nicely, adding another layer of depth, but it doesn't look too out of place. Over here we have some organic builds. Now these vertical slabs allow us to create really nice shapes for organics, and one of the main things for this is trees. So as you can see, this is a palm tree design using spruce vertical slabs combined with the jungle logs, and this works really nicely for some kind of palm tree. And over here we have a spruce tree which looks really gnarly and really novelty, and this looks so cool in my opinion. Just using the vertical slabs to make it seem like it's twisting around, it looks very windswept. This looks so nice for organics such as trees. Moving on, vertical slabs allow us to create a seamless transition between the outside of a build and the inside of a build. As you can see, I have a completely different wallpaper on this side of the build to the planks on the outside of the build, and this is only 1.5 blocks thick, and this just allows us to create so many possibilities for interiors that weren't possible before. And it also allows us to create some furniture designs as well, such as this TV which fits perfectly on this wall, and this bookshelf which has some really cool shapes in it. And last but certainly not least, going back to that organic feel, you can create some really nice slopes for your terrain using these vertical slabs. As you can see, I've just created a much smoother looking mountainous area which looks really nice for any kind of landscape. And it just works really well. As you can see, it just allows us to create some much smoother slopes, and it doesn't look too unnatural or out of place. It just looks really rocky now, really nice, and I love how this looks. So here are 10 designs you can unlock with vertical slabs. I really hope these get added at some point in the future, but let me know down below if you agree. Do you think these should be added into the game? And if so, what would you use them for? Anyway, thank you for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, please, as usual, leave any suggestions for video ideas down below. Also, subscribe and hit that bell if you want to see more videos like this. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.